This is Dr. Trashbag, and in this episode, I'm going over the update 1.1. So, this came out in April 2022. There's supposed to be a 1.2 update in quarter two, quarter two is April, May, June. So, it should be coming out soon because at the recording of this video, it's midway through May. But to go over the updates in 1.1, let's get to it. So, first of all, there was a lot of stability and performance updates. These are great. I had at least 3 crashes between when the game came out and this update. So, it is good to have this quality of life update. Now, I don't play that much, so 3 crashes was a lot for me. Like, I still haven't even beaten the Chaos campaign, to be honest. I've played as Nurgle, I've played as Cathay, and I've played as both Lords of Cathay, and I just haven't gotten over more than 2 souls. But I'm trying to complete it with Nurgle, because I'm actually really enjoying the Nurgle campaign. If you want to see me play that, that's also on the channel. But the next update for the updates of 1.1 is fixed an issue where vegetation will appear dark when adjusting the game's graphic settings. I personally haven't seen something like that here, but that's good that they're doing that. Fixed an issue which would result in white flickering lines appeared around mountain models on the campaign map. All right, now if they could fix this weird green outline on all the units, that'd be great. Fixed a visual issue when selecting Kislev war sleds. Okay. Zeech Realm fixed a stretched texture that appears on background geometry during the ambush battle. Okay. Zeech Realm added a missing skybox to the pre-battle loading screen. Okay, cool. Audio updated the unit audio for lead belchers and iron blasters for a bigger punch. Okay. UI fixed an issue which prevented accents from displaying properly in the lobby newsfeed. Okay. Added a missing icon for an effect in a wood elf building tree. Okay, I don't think I've seen wood elves yet. But then again, I haven't played a faction that's close to the Badlands. I wonder if that's where they are. Okay, that's weird. I thought there wouldn't even be wood elves until we get the Mortal Empire's full map. All right. Anyways, added the correct category icon for the Herald of Slanesh Shadow. Okay, cool. So gameplay mechanics. They have changed how corrupted traits are removed in Total War Warhammer 3. So corrupted traits are now removed as the corrupted character spends time in a province with lower levels of that particular type of corruption. Other changes to the gameplay mechanics. Fixed an issue where everlasting gift technology would remove some of the effects of the gift of Slanesh rather than applying the correct bonuses. That's good. The supply lines values will now update properly when disbanding lords. Fixed an issue where unit docking into dockable areas would not adjust their firing arcs, so they would continue firing at enemy units. Yes, so you would dock archers at like walls or other dockable areas on settlements or higher settlements, and they just wouldn't fire. And so it kind of stunk because those were kind of like really good archer locations. So I'm glad that they fixed that. They fixed an issue where handing off control of a second army joining a battle to the AI would prevent them from joining and prevented the battle from concluding. Oh man, I didn't even see that happening. Fixed an issue where heroes would no longer gain skill points after progressing past rank 40. Okay. Fixed an issue where the Firemouth settlement would provide the option to construct major settlement buildings rather than the minor settlement buildings. That's a fun bug. I think that's actually beneficial. Fixed a bug where units stationed at an Ogre camp located in hostile territory could not replenish their army. removed several obstructions to the line of sight around the tower construction points on the Griswold Empire. Yeah, so there's some maps where these siege towers, they got like buildings around them or near them to where they can't shoot in that many locations. That kind of stinks. Oh well. Implemented fixes for several deployment and Vanguard deployment zones in several maps. Updated an issue where losing a caravan would result in an inactive recruit caravan button for the following turn. Fixed an issue with auto-resolve where attacking an enemy army in a settlement resulted in better outcomes than when an enemy army attacked the player. Fixed issues in which hero buffs and recruitment rank buildings would fail to properly apply their bonuses. Fixed an issue where infinite winds of magic could be generated due to a rounding error with reserves and recharging rates. That's that infinite winds of magic bug. Okay. Fixed issues with Bellacor's skill tree, which resulted in certain skills unlocking the incorrect abilities. Okay. Fixed an issue where the battle speed was switched to slow motion without any input during replays. Okay. Campaign. CA has implemented numerous fixes to issues encountered in the game's prologue. Fixed an issue where the prologue could get stuck after the Battle of Fort Divengard. Players should no longer be able or unable to progress when ending a turn immediately after losing Yuri. Yuri will no longer hop in place following the Screaming Chasm trigger. Players should no longer have the progression blocked by accidentally deselecting the settlement before completing the Lord Recruitment Guide. Players should no longer have their progression blocked by selecting a settlement during the Demon Encounter Guide. Fixed an issue which would prevent the player from progressing after capturing the Claw Reach, and fixed the issue where would prevent the player from progressing upon completing their battle with the Wolf. Fixed a crash when trying to skip the camera fly-through at the start of the campaign. Added a link to the Shields tooltip that appears during the first Battle of Zeech. The Realm of Chaos. Numerous changes have been made to the Realm of Chaos soul race to allow for more flexibility in how you approach the race, counteracting enemies as they pursue the souls, and the conditions inflicted upon lords who enter the realm. So first, CA has reduced the effect of negative traits inflicting upon entering the realms of chaos by 50%. Demon legendary lords will no longer be affected by the negative traits within the realm of their respective chaos gods or god. Negative traits inflicted by the realm of chaos will now be removed when a legendary lord completes a survival battle within the realm. Upon intercepting an AI faction at the Forge of Souls, the legendary lord will now lose all of their souls rather than being wounded for 15 turns. This will force them to collect the souls over again. The protection chain of buildings can now be constructed to prevent rifts from spawning in the province that they were built. Okay, yeah, those were all like little fixes to make the chaos, the Realm of Chaos Souls race a little bit less negative. But I'm still kind of over it. If you do a multiplayer campaign, I believe it's the middle choice. You can play that, and that has nothing to do with the Chaos Soul race. For example, completing a survival battle will now also provide the winning faction with the following benefits for 10 turns. So it'll be plus or minus 5 of the winning faction's corruption across all provinces, plus 8 control across all provinces, plus 15 growth, and plus 10% income across all provinces. And that's nice. Add adjustments made to the following realms. Each realm options offered during dilemmas triggered at points of interest will now provide replenishment. Oh, that's nice. I notice in the Chaos realms I usually don't get replenishment, which makes it difficult to take on multiple armies. Zeech Realm boon from Zeech. The option offered by the dilemma now properly displays its rewards when it appears. Nurgle Realm, the attrition resistance effects granted by points of interest now last 20 turns instead of for the duration spent in the realm. This means that the boon can now also be carried back to the mortal world. Okay. Nurgle Realm, flying units can no longer be deployed atop of the Nurgle Island environment prop. Players can no longer replace the legendary lord of an army with a regular lord when at the Forge of Souls. Oh man, that's funny. Fix a rare issue which would fix a rare issue which would result in the Forge of Souls rift being closed despite having access to the final battle. Bellacor. After completing the campaign, the player will now be given the option to banish Bellacor. This will provide the following permanent benefits: +3 hero capacity for all heroes, +14 hero and lord recruitment rank. Wow, that's going to be like, you have decent level, because usually you have like an extra 3, 5, 6, 8, 10 rank with like buildings and technology. So you're getting your heroes and lords at like close or at level 20. That's amazing. +5 winds of magic per turn for all armies. +7 control across all provinces. +25 growth. And +15% income across all provinces. Bellacor now has a starting trait that grants access to his unique battle ability, Shadow Shroud, rather than it being granted by default. An additional fix for the campaign fixed an issue where completing a campaign and clicking continue to the records would replay Bellacor's first voiceover line rather than the proper line. Demons of Chaos. We felt that the Demon Prince was underperforming in battles against enemy lords, so we adjusted his base stats and moved some other values around to bolster his terrifying presence on the battlefield. So his melee attack was increased from 25 to 50, basically doubling. Melee defense increased from 20 to 45. Base damage increased from 20 to 225. Armor piercing damage increased from 200 to 225. And armor increased from 10 to 20. Charge bonus increased from 30 to 40. So yeah, those are all decent sized buffs. I wonder how extra that will do in terms of other lords. To accommodate for his higher base stats, we've reduced the effect values of the starting gifts available to the Demon Prince when starting a new campaign. So the Mark of Chaos reduced melee defense from 10 to 5. Muscular arms, left arm, removed melee attack +15. Right arm removed base weapon damage +10%. Oh wow, just removed all these. Okay, increased base damage from 15 to 20% for the hand weapon, and increased armor piercing damage from 10% to 15% for hand weapon. Okay. Demons of Chaos, demonic progression offerings. We've increased the values of the pre-dictation of demon progression offering bundles to keep them all balanced. The post-dedication offerings have also been buffed with some extra power as you might dedicate yourself to the chosen Chaos Gods, including buffs to the Chaos-specific recruitment ranks of units, agents, and lords. This should shorten the time it takes you for your lords to reach their exalted forms. So offering number 8, all gods, increase the dedicated god-specific lord recruitment rate from 3 to +10. Offering number 8, all gods, increase the dedicating god-specific agent recruitment rate from +3 to +10. Offering 8, all gods, reduce the dedication god-specific unit recruitment time by 2 turns. Corn offering, level 8, remove the plus 10% casualty replenishment bonus. Corn offering 8 added a plus 25% buff to campaign movement range after winning a battle. Nurgling, removed the building cost reduction bonus. Nurgling added a 20% global replenishment bonus to Nurgling units. Slanesh offering increased the diplomatic relations with all factions from plus 10 to plus 25. Tzeentch removed the chance to increase the strength of Winds of Magic when changing. Okay. Tzeentch offering increased the chance to strengthen the Winds of Magic skill from 10% to plus 25%. And then offering, level 9, increase the dedicated god-specific unit recruitment rank for all armies from plus 3 to plus 6. Demons of Chaos, the Demon Prince gift set. We've not only added a missing upgrades ability to the Undivided sets, but made some additional adjustments to balance these sets alongside the other balance changes to the Demons of Chaos. The Armor Prince of Chaos equipped the set now grants an upgraded version of the Mortal Blow ability. The Armor Prince of Chaos removed the plus 10% glory gain bonus, and then increased the leadership aura size from plus 25% to plus 50%. The Scorched Prince of Chaos equipped the set now grants an upgraded version of the Mortal Blow ability. The Scorched Prince of Chaos removed the plus 10% glory gain bonus. The Adorned Prince of Slanesh reduced the recruitment rank of Slanesh units from plus 4 to plus 3. Okay. Demons of Chaos, Demon Prince gifts, fixed the bug where Tzeentch head items had transmuted of lead instead of final transmutation, which resulted in a certain arm and head upgrades offering the same spell. As the Demon Prince only had access to minor spell variants, we've added the Overcast variants to gifts that already provided the base spell. Numerous balance tweaks have also made the gifts offering upon dedication to one of the Chaos Gods. Okay, so there's a lot of items here, but it looks like they're buffing everything quite a bit. If you could just take some time, look at the video, read through these. They also have the link for update 1.1 at totalwar.com blog. So you got left arm, right arm, head, legs, tail. Everything seems to be a buff. It's updating everything slightly. I don't see the word decrease yet. Everything is increase or added. Added the charm weapon contact effect. Okay. So it seems to be really buffing the Demons of Chaos. Added the charm. Okay. Oh yeah, and then wings, of course. General fixes. Fixed an issue where the narrative events would continue to trigger after completing a campaign, including rifts reopening in the world. Fix an issue where Boris would not be created as a new faction and does not appear in the Lord's recruitment pool after completing the Frozen Falls. Battles. So spells in Total War Warhammer 3 were heavily reworked. How Vortex, Wind, Breath, and similar spells work from earlier games in the series. One of the biggest changes related to the damage reduction applied over distance, which has been removed entirely in Warhammer 3. This results in drastically increasing damage potency across the board, which naturally required a rebalance of every spell in the game. Unfortunately, there was one spell which was missed when implementing the new system, the effects of which have now been reduced to bring it in line with the rest of the spells. So Pendulum base reduced the damage dealt from 42 to 36, and AP damage remains at 50%. Pendulum Overcast reduces damage from 108 to 45, going from 66 armor piercing to 60 armor piercing. Unit responsiveness. The responsiveness of units as they join and engage with enemies on the battlefield is a notable pain point for players. As a starting point, we've included several bug fixes with today's build, which should begin to improve the responsiveness of melee and rage units. Improved how infantry units react to orders and turn to face the enemies. Their behavior should now match the responsiveness of infantry units in Total War Warhammer 2. Fixed an issue which caused ranged units to fire slower when docked on a siege wall or similar structure. Fixed an issue which would cause ranged units to reset their animations without having fired. Locked control groups will no longer enter guard mode when receiving an attack order. Yeah, this is great. I really disliked it when I clicked, fire or attack, and they're just significantly slower. It is painful to watch, and it also causes you to lose more of your armies than you really needed to when you're doing battles. When you're playing battles, rather. There are still a handful of issues that CA will be looking to solve in future updates, including the responsiveness of airborne units transitioning to the ground, hug units disengaging from combat, and knockdown behavior. For now, let us know what you think about the above fixes and if anything else appears off. General fixes. The charge reflection attribute will now require units to brace against the charging attacker in order to take effect. Fix an issue where defending units would use the attacker's mass rather than their own mass for impacting damage calculators. That's just funny. Fix an issue where attacker reinforcements would enter from within the defender's city. Army reinforcements should now correctly enter a battle according to their position on the campaign map relative to the battle. In domination and survival battles, summon units will no longer offer a refund after being teleported away from the battlefield. Factions. General fixes. Exalted Lord of Change. Lords now have access to greater Arcane Conduit ability in their skill tree as intended. Ogre Kingdoms. Iron Blasters. We've envisioned this unit to be a bit more of a mobile shotgun platform rather than a sniper artillery piece. For example, flanking followed by shooting down the length of the infantry units. The below changes aim to push it more in this direction. So increase the projectile spread from 7 to 3. Reduce the damage dealt from each projectile from 84 to 75. And reduce the AP damage dealt by each projectile from 336 to 300. Gorgers are expected to quickly smash through light and medium infantry, though we expect them to be vulnerable to range fire and beaten handily by anti-large units and trade moderately with anti-large heavy infantry. Reducing the AP damage and entity count should help them reach this balance. So reduce the armor-piercing damage dealt from 70 to 50 and reduce the total entity count per Groger unit from 16 to 12. General fixes. Fix an issue where garrison fire belly heroes would not receive their spells in battle. Ogre Kingdoms, multiplayer only. On the multiplayer front, the Ogre Kingdoms have been overperforming in both the matchmaking and tournament settings. We're having a tough time gauging the power level of other units while Gorgers and Iron Blasters control the meta, even forcing the creation of tournament rules to account for their power. Iron Blasters multiplayer cost increased from 1,400 to 1,750 gold. Ogre Giants now count as a rare single entity for the sake of unit caps. CA will be continuing to monitor the power of Ogre Kingdoms following the changes and will adjust accordingly. Grand Cathay. CA found that Grand Cathay has several underperforming units that seem to struggle in most situations. Sky Junks, Sky Lanterns, and Woozing War Compass. CA has made some adjustments to the first 2 units across the board, and has reduced the multiplayer cost of the Warzing War Compass, so they can be deployed more effectively. We've also increased the range within which Harmony activates to provide players with more flexibility when deploying their army. So Harmony increased the effective radius from 45 to 60. Sky Junk increases ammunition from 15 to 20. Sky Junk bomb ability cooldown reduced from 60 seconds to 30 seconds. Sky Lantern shots now apply the shield breaker effect that reduces the armor of a unit when you hit them. And speed has increased from 30 to 35. General fixes. Stone Gaze skill now increases armor instead of leadership for the Tetracotta Sentinels and Woozing War Compass units. For Grand Cathay, multiplayer only, Grand Cathay is currently and by far the biggest underperformer in both ranked matchmaking and in domination tournaments. CA thinks that Cathay is best when their army is large, such as large land battles, and small starting armies in Dominion seem to be key to the struggles of the faction. With the changes of Dominion Mode, shown below, increases the size of the starting armies. We'll be monitoring how the meta progresses as they are able to create more solid, harmonious battle lines and or artillery boxes. CA has also targeted the most underperforming units with the fixes for their cost efficiency. The first of many changes CA is considering for the future. Warzing War Compass, multiplayer cost reduced from 1100 to 800. Astromancer, multiplayer cost for adding a Woozing War Compass mount reduced from 950 to 400 gold. Lastly, to further boost the benefits of Harmony, the faction's overall performance, we are slightly reducing the cost of Peasant Archers, who are slightly too expensive in relation to how they're performing. Peasant Archers, multiplayer cost reduced from 450 to 400 gold. For Tzeentch, when it comes to barriers, we know the community is concerned that heavy changes could have drastic consequences on the Tzeentch viability on the battlefield. So for now, we're only adjusting the recharge delay. When cycling units to restore their barriers, Tzeentch players will now have to spend significantly more time doing so. Increase the recharge delay of restoring barriers from 15 to 30 seconds. Arcane Surge, with the fixes to Winds of Magic reserves, the ability to endlessly cast cheap spells such as Blue Fire of Tzeentch was drastically reduced, but not completely fixed. To correct this, we're reducing the value of the Arcane Surge army ability. Reduced Winds of Magic reserves generated per second from plus 0.3 to plus 0.15. Warp Flame lowered the armor reduction debuff from 15 to 10, reduced the weakness to fire debuff from 11 to 10%. I don't know how big of a 1% difference is there. Forsaken of Tzeentch, as the unit has significant barrier already, CA has decided to remove the spell resistance enjoyed by the Forsaken of Tzeentch. This should bring them more in line with their counterparts from other Chaos factions. Remove the inherited magic resistance from the unit, 40% to 0. Wow, that's actually a pretty big chunk. Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. Finally, CA is looking to differentiate Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch from the non-exalted version by making the unit more capable in range combat. To do this, CA has increased both their ammo and attack range. So increases their base ammunition from 10 to 15 and increases the range of the unit from 90 to 150. That's a big difference. Tzeentch, multiplayer only. Along with the Ogre Kingdom, Tzeentch has been dominating both in ranked matchmaking and domination tournaments. We expect the above changes paired with an increase in the cost to recruit Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch will help bring the faction in line with the rest. So the Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch went from 11 1,100 to 1,300 gold. All right. Now for Kislev, in addition to the global responsiveness improvements CA has made to infantry units, CA is also increasing the acceleration of the heavier Kislev infantry unit, specifically which were an outlier in the area compared to other units. So CA is adjusting the following 3 units. The Armored Corsairs, the unit acceleration increased from 20 to 30. The Strelitz, I don't know how to pronounce that. Strelitzi? Let me know in the comments how to pronounce that correctly. Unit acceleration increased from 20 to 30, and the Tsar Guard acceleration increased from 20 to 30. The light war sleds, in their current state, the light war sleds are currently matching the performance of their heavy counterparts at a significantly lower cost. As such, we're making tweaks to their armor across the board and their cost in multiplayer. See below. So they've reduced the armor from 70 to 50. The Elemental Bear, CA likes to boost the pick and success rate of Elemental Bear. So CA is giving it a slightly more melee defense to guard against its main weakness. Increased melee defense from 20 to 30. Little Grom units have a comparatively low play rate to others. So CA has adjusted a few numbers to make them more viable in the battlefield. So increase the range damage from 145 to 160, and increase their armor piercing damage from 580 to 600. So for multiplayer, for Kislev, Kislev is slightly underperforming in ranked matchmaking. Kislev seems to be respectively balanced in a tournament environment. There are a few units that do stand out, so CA is looking into making smaller tweaks while observing the effects of the Domination Mode economy changes. So the light war sleds, the multiplayer cost increased from 950 to 1,100. The Elemental Bear, multiplayer cost went from 2,200 to 2,000. Nurgle. So this one is kind of close to my heart. I like playing as Nurgle, so I'm excited to hear about this one. Nurgle. Feedback from the community highlighted that Nurgle units are too slow, making them vulnerable to large armies with ranged firepower. To account for that, CA has improved the mobility options of several units alongside some additional tweaks. Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle increased their ammunition count from 2 to 3 and increased their speed from 23 to 27. Plague Bearers of Nurgle increased their speed from 23 to 27. Plague Drones of Nurgle, Deathheads, increased the ammunition count from 7 to 10. Kugoth Plague Father. Kugoth has also seen relatively little use, so we're boosting a few stats to help him live up to his legendary status. Increase ammunition count from 22 to 35. Okay. Increase the healing rate provided by the Nurgling Infestation ability from 0.1% to 0.2% health per second. Okay, those are nice updates. I was looking for something else though, but we'll keep on reading. Let's see. Nurgle has been doing well in rank matchmaking, however, they've struggled in the domination tournament environment. CA is looking to increase the size of Nurgle armies in 2 ways. Throughout the changes in Domination Mode and reducing unit costs. Okay. We believe this will improve their efficiency versus heavily ranged armies by basically making everything cheaper, and thus you can maybe have an extra unit or 2. So Plague Drones of Nurgle, their multiplayer cost reduced from 1,300 to 1,200. Plague Drones of Nurgle Deathheads reduce their cost from 1,600 to 1,500 gold. Plague Bearers of Nurgle, their cost reduced from 750 to 700 gold. Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle reduced from 1,250 to 1,100 gold. And the Great Unclean Ones now count as a rare single entity for the sake of unit caps. Slanesh. In Update 1.1, CA is fixing several issues with charges, bracing, and impact damage. CA feel it is too risky to touch Slanesh units without having a good understanding of what effect these will have. So CA will be revisiting the faction after they have reviewed the live impact and player feedback based on these changes. So Slanesh multiplayer only, as the above. CA will continue observing Slanesh to see how the faction performs moving forward. CA expects the various blah 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 blah. So they fixed the cavalry, so they're just gonna see how that works before updating Slanesh anymore. Corn, CA is currently happy with the state of Corn, outside the changes made to the Demon Prince, and will continue to monitor the faction's performance after other balance changes is made this month. One small change added this update: the dogfighting technology now provides the Strider attribute to Fleshhounds while increasing their charge bonus. Okay. Now there's multiplayer. Okay. As the Domination Mode and the Domination Mode is new to Total War Warhammer 3, CA has been eagerly waiting to see how it's received and how it continued to evolve from where it is now. CA is already working from the notion that the Domination Mode available now will drastically different from the Domination Mode that exists years from now, and have included several changes in 1.1 to start the journey down that path. There are a few areas of feedback that we are beginning to look at. Low map count. CA has added 2 maps and will continue working to include other existing maps in the very near future. Comeback mechanic. CA wants there to be opportunities to come back after the first engagement. So CA is removing the damage-based income mechanic to support that goal. Okay. The supply resource, we want to reduce the farming of enemies in lieu of seizing and holding the capture points in early game. So CA is increasing the supply trickle and adjusting how supplies are obtained in game mode. Another large-scale change is CA is looking to make is to speed up the game mode as a whole. To do this, CA is focusing on a few changes to the number of starting units initially available. CA can see how having so few units to start doesn't feel as epic as land battles. Factions which rely on larger formations for static styles of play end up being hurt by low starting numbers, particularly against highly mobile forces. And CA is increasing the main army budget, starting supplies, and base income to help address the above problems. Finally, CA also introduced a bug fix to take away refunds from withdrawn summon units. This will allow us to accurately monitor the balance of summoner units such as Cultist, seeing as they can be an income exploit. Alright, there's the 2 new maps. There's Arcane and there is Battle for Itza. Domination gameplay, the army fund distribution between the main army and reinforcements has been rebalanced from 40% to 60%, reinforcements to 50-50. Oh, okay. We've adjusted additional supplies to player gains when they are trailing in a domination match. So +5 supplies per second when trailing by 1,000 plus tickets, and then +10 supplies per second when training by 2,000 plus tickets. Other changes to how supplies are gained: added 500 initial supplies to the default stockpile, increased the supply income from 16 to 20 per second, and removed the supply income provided via damage to enemy units. All right. General fixes. CA has temporarily disabled the ability to use the manual targeting system in multiplayer battles, seeing that it can be exploited to ignore the reload times of certain units. We are reviewing the system in greater depth and will look to restore it later on. Players in ranked battles will no longer be able to load an army from the Demons of Chaos, and fixed an issue where Bellacor Blade of Shadow ability did not have an associated cost in custom and multiplayer battles. The Palace of Slanesh It's a survival battle. Fix an issue where all the players would lose connection following the courtesan cutscene. Huh. Also fix an issue where the players would lose connection after completing the battle. Okay. Fix some things for Brazilian and Portuguese. Fix a line during the first mission of something rotten in Kislev multiplayer campaign that was displayed in Spanish. Okay. Known issues. Below are known issues that have been identified that are either new within the update or relevant to the changes above. This is by no means a comprehensive list of issues being worked on, but are important notes to keep in mind when you rejoin the battlefield. Soft lock in your army is placed on top of or behind the final battle quest marker. Following the change to the Forge of Souls mechanics, there are 2 issues we'd be working to solve at a future update, both of which involve the final battle quest marker on the Forge of Souls island. First, by placing an army adjusted to the marker, the AI will enter both the player zone of control and the zone of the quest marker, meaning that the game will end in an AI victory if the player is unable to stop the army. Likewise, if you win the battle within the radius of the quest marker, the game will hang indefinitely as the AI has both won and is no longer present to conclude the game. To circumvent these issues until we can fix, you should avoid placing your lord and army in the same space as the final battle quest marker. Huh. All right, well, that's the update for 1.1. That was more of a major update since the game came out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please like and subscribe if you think I've earned it. And if you want to see more content like this. All right, well, thank you all so much. And I'll see y'all in the next episode.